Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening around the world. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Blackjack. Today, as always, I'll be doing a YouTube deck tech from the comments section for you guys. If you're interested in having me put a deck together for you or help you tweak a list you're trying to work on, I'm looking for any of the 5 metrics in the comments section. A bracket, a budget, a theme, a commander, and any pet cards you might have. I'll also leave a link to my Discord down below. It's an easy place for you to drop a deck list off and have me work on it. Today we're doing a request from Blair Twitch Project. A few weeks ago requested a mono green deck but reached out to me on Discord and hit me with the Uno reverse card and said I want to play blue white control Elminster. So disclaimer right here at the front, this is not a deck to make friends. This is not a deck that you bring to an LGS and play with people you never played before. This is something you play in a group of people that you know that you're comfortable making miserable. That being said, Elminster, pretty cool card, interesting, not played often. Could you take this out and put in Shorakai and just have a better control deck? Yeah, 100%, no question. Shorakai would be better than this commander in a control shell. You could swap out some of the scry mechanic stuff that we have in here and literally put in anything and Shorakai would be better. But this isn't about being the best. This is about sending a message. And being a wizard is pretty damn cool. So, all that being said, this is blue-white Azorius, 3 colorless. Elminster Planeswalker, whenever you scry the next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn cost X less, where X is the number of cards looked at while scrying this way. +2, draw a card, then scry 2. -3, exile the top card of your library, create a number of 1/1 blue fairy tokens with flying equal to the CMC. So, couple cool things about this commander. One, it does make stuff cheaper. We're not always going to utilize that, and we're not really built to take advantage of that completely, but it does help. Two, it's a card advantage engine, so almost every single time you're going to be plussing Elminster, unless it's extremely late game, you can start minusing to actually close the game out. And three, I think the most important thing is he's interesting, right? You've probably not seen him very often, maybe once, maybe twice, maybe never. Me personally have never. So it's just cool to give some love to some commanders that don't traditionally see play. And before all the comments are like, well, Blackjack, you could easily run Shorakai and you could play Teferi's Protection and Cyclonic Rift. Yes, Timmy, I'm aware of that. Yes, that would make the deck stronger, but it's not always about being stronger. Sometimes it's about having fun. Sometimes it's about showing love to cards that don't get much. So, as far as win conditions, if you've been playing Magic for a long time, you and I both know that blue-white really doesn't have many win conditions. Back in the day, they pretty much played no win cons, but eventually won with Celestial Colonnade, and then when it got popularized in Pioneer, you would pretty much just win by, making your opponent miserable. You really had almost no win conditions. Maybe you would alt Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, and eventually your opponent would just pass out from boredom. So those are normally your real win cons here is just making everyone miserable to the point they don't want to play anymore. But if they do want to cross that finish line, you have a couple ways. So obviously you can use Elminster to make tokens. Elspeth does a good job of making tokens, board wiping, or giving your tokens a win condition. Jason Mind Sculptor does a good job at brainstorming over and over. Elminster setting you up with scrying. Jace kind of doing the same thing. He doesn't give the love he deserves. He used to be the best of the best. Now he's not great, but let's give him some time to shine. Narset Transcendent. The emblem can come pretty damn close to taking your opponents out of the game. It can rebound a sorcery. It can get card advantage with its plus. Tamiyo can protect itself, draw cards, and also have a great emblem. Teferi does it all. Draws cards, untaps lands, bounces stuff. The emblem will almost certainly win you the game. This Teferi makes it a little bit easier on you being able to operate at flash instant speed. No one else can. Plus you get to bounce something and draw a card. And then Teferi, who slows the sunset, who there's a couple different routes you can take a blue-white control deck. You can go like really deep into hate pieces and stacks pieces and slow the game down. I will say this deck's not looking to do that. However, we are playing 15 board wipes, 15 dedicated board wipes, which if you just throw up in your mouth, it's okay. Take a deep breath, wash your mouth out, come on back here. I want you to know that, is this an absurd number of board wipes? 100%. But again, this is about sending a message. If you're not board wiping 3 turns in a row after your opponents thought they could rebuild once, twice, third time's not the charm, they might just quit. And that is your win condition. We're playing a lot of board wipes, and the cool thing about board wipes with Elminster is I'm not going to go over all these board wipes. Obviously, some are better than others, but you can take a look. Massive package of them. But if you're over encumbered with them in your hand, you can actually get them back on top of your library with something that allows you to, like Brain Surge or Jace the Mind Sculptor brainstorming, and then you could pitch one of them to the Elminster Minus to make some tokens out of it. So you can always utilize these extra cards even if you don't need them physically in your hand. You can turn them into tokens, you can do some other things with them, but I mean, honestly, yeah, you're looking to board wipe almost every turn of the game, at least when needed. Approach to the Second Sun is one of your main win conditions. I would say approach alongside your planeswalkers are your win cons. Elminster, your Planeswalker package, approach, that's all you have to win the game. So if you do want to play a deck like this, it is fun, but it is draining for everyone else at the table, and it takes a long time to win. 4C, scry 4, then draw 2 cards. Anytime we look at a scry mechanic like this in the deck, realize that if we have Elminster out and we scry 4, then draw 2, Elminster is going to say, hey, you just scryed 4. The next instant or sorcery spell you cast this turn costs 4 less. So this essentially pays for itself, which is really cool and not something you would get in a homogenized Shorakai list. So there you go. Instance, if you couldn't guess, we have a lot of counter spells. Behold the Multiverse for scrying and card drawing, Brain Surge, Deliberate, a lot of scry stuff. Diviner's Portent, Heliod's Intervention for hitting artifacts and enchantments. Mystic Confluence can do everything. Narset's Reversal, more counterspells. Path and Swords, Precognitive Perception for card draw. Sphinx's Revelation for card draw. Cryptic Command can do a little bit of everything. So if it's not obvious, you're either holding one of these things up to counter a spell, or you're holding one of these things up to draw a card if nothing is necessary to counter. Artifacts, as far as ramp, you have Arcane Signet, Azoria Signet, Ebony Fly, Felwar Stone, Marble Diamond, Mind Stone, Sky Diamond, Soul Rain, Talisman, Thought Vessel. 10 up, 10 down, staying consistent, none of that garbage 3-mana ramp. We're sticking with 2 only. Yes, realistically, you could do 3 if you wanted to because your commander's 5, but being able to turn 2, put out a ramp piece, turn 3, untap, play a big card draw spell, or even board wipe if necessary, feels pretty good here. Archaeomancer's map to try to stay up on our land count. Planetarium of Wan Shi Ton is a super cool one. You can scry 2, which will make stuff cheaper with Elminster, and then you can cast stuff for free with this. Scroll Rack is a good way to reset your hand, so if you need to get stuff back on top to minus with your commander, or you just want to look at some new cards, Scroll Rack and Sensei's Top are 2 of your best controlling pieces. And if you wanted to take it to that next step and become even more of a scumbag, you could start to play the blue mana enchantment that when somebody casts a spell, you reveal the top. If it's equal CMC, it counters it. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure in the comments somebody will say it. It's a mono blue spell, Counterbalance, that's what it is. So you could play stuff like Counterbalance and really start to try to get a hold on the entire game. But I'm looking more in this deck to counter things that are non-creatures that people are trying to win the game with, and then board wipe everything else, baby. Enchantments, not many. Ghostly Prison, Propaganda, snuck a little humility in there. You know, sometimes you have that friend that is a little bit too pompous and playing a deck who they tout as the strongest deck around, and it's got a really powerful game plan and the creatures are really dangerous. Well, let's put that to the test. Let's turn them into 1/1s with no abilities. Let's see if it still works for you. Oath of Teferi, you can reactivate your Planeswalkers a second time. Obviously good in a deck that wins with Planeswalkers. And then Smothering Tithe as our third and final game changer. You could definitely play more in here. Yes, you would like to have Rhystic Study. Yes, you would like to have um, Teferi's Protection, Cyclonic Rift. But one, I didn't mention this at the beginning, but this is a $300 budget. So as you can see, we came within $3 of that. And two, I don't want to put a million game changers in here. We're going to try to stick to three. As far as the lands, nothing special. Do the best with what you got. Build up from there, especially when it's a 2 mana thing. It's not super hard. Rivendell does allow you to scry for your commander. Castle Vantress allows you to scry for your commander. Other than that, just have fun. Like I said, I think this is an amazing deck. I think whoever's playing it's going to have a great time. You just need to make sure that your opponents know what's coming, and you need to make sure that you're prepared for a long game. But I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and Godspeed.